Hi, everybody. We are back. I am so excited because this session came highly requested because we actually talked a lot about influencer marketing at our amazing show in February at the WWDMAGIC Social House. So I had to bring in the big guns, and you know who I'm talking about, y'all. I'm talking about my stud of a husband, Rick Shermer.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna take that and put it in my piggy bank, my emotional piggy bank. Thank you, baby.
Also, baby daddy. I know a lot of you saw that we were rocking the pregnancy with the Bella twins in February. Now we've got the baby, and I got the hubs, and I am pulling him in to share all the scoops, A to Z, about influencer marketing. So before we get started, I gotta brag on my man a little bit, y'all. Okay, he has worked with everyone from Angelina Jolie, Warner Brothers, Shoe Dazzle, Walmart, Procter & Gamble, the whole nine.
Disney.
Yep.
That's one of my favorites.
He's like, let me just get in the way and brag about myself. So he is bringing it down. He is the founder and CEO of Viral Brands. And we actually co-founded the McCordless together.
Yes, we did. And we actually were I was so blessed. We when I met Rachel about 7-8 years ago, almost pushing 8, right?
Yeah.
And we, Rachel had a great social media following, and she had a lot of girls that were looking up to her. And I noticed that Rachel loved to engage back on Twitter at the time and a little bit on Instagram. I think it was kind of a nascent platform back then. And I was like, you should really kind of like build a brand around this. And then so we started brainstorming, and one thing led to the next. And then the McCordless was born. And Rachel's passion for empowering women to help them build their careers, especially women in fashion and entertainment, and was really took off. So she's been killing the game. If you guys know, like, she's obviously done a model as well, but her biggest passion is helping women. And she's done event after event in Hollywood, which has been incredible. And also these incredibly fun photo shoots that create so much press that we've done with Magic and some of you guys, as you all know. It's just been so fun. I mean, she's also just this year at the Emmys was named Best Dressed Celebrity by actually several outlets this year. Vogue and Glamour and Marie Claire. It was incredible. It was so crazy.
He loves to brag.
I know, I do. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. I'm still proud of you. But the biggest thing was the fact that she was pregnant while she was doing it. Nobody knew yet. And now she is she bore our child, who was the cutest little thing I've ever seen in my life.
Baby Jude.
Yes.
And we were getting tons of advice from Kathy Ireland. I hope you watched that interview or are going to tune in. It is
Kathy
so
is
amazing.
Queen.
She is gold.
Yeah, she's amazing.
And what I'm sure a lot of you know, whether you work with your spouse, you work with friends or colleagues, it is a lot of work building a brand. And so today what we wanted to do was break down A to Z what it takes to really build your business and do it with style. So I want to talk a little bit about the McCordless, what we do. Some of you probably already know a lot of my WWDMAGIC family. We are super close.
Yes.
and all tight on social media at the McCordless and at I Am Rachel McCord. But we are an influential community of celebrities, press, influencers, bloggers. We connect and we talk about brands.
Yeah, what I love about it is that there's such a very special need. I think that people who are influencers, who are celebrities, and who are impressed, because there's a certain level of pressure on you to maintain a brand. And so there's obviously I think this day and age, every brand has a brand that they want to, uphold, and everybody knows that if you're a fashion brand or whatnot. But now it's about the personal branding has become so important now, especially for these influencers, that all of a sudden they've got to become brand managers. And so there's a lot of pressure on them that is just super unique. And I think that Rachel, having created this tribe of women, it's not just about the brands that you guys work with and their personal brands, but it's about filling people up like an oasis. Rachel's like an oasis. She hosts just did a yoga event a few months ago, right before COVID, sort of became a big thing. And women were just so recharged. It was incredible. Up in West Hollywood on the rooftop. It was a beautiful, beautiful moment. But and we love that too about Magic and the social house. And it's so fun to be able to partner with people we love so much and are doing the same thing to empower so many beautiful ladies.
I love that. And I love the way that you wrap that up, because honestly, I think what's really important when you're building a brand, especially when you're focusing on influencer marketing, spoiler alert, y'all, I'm just going to tell you, it's all about coming from the inside out. You have to lead your brand from the heart, from passion, and it will work, it will grow. And we're going to give you the scoop on doing that. With the McCordless, we believe that a comprehensive approach to your brand is crucial. And we learned this from the DNA of Viral Brand, which again is Rick's company. So we put together influential events and digital experiences, content, things that will inspire and help. And the reason we bring it up is because it's so important when you're connecting with your audience when it comes to marketing that you're doing it from a perspective of giving, of thinking first about the consumer and last about yourself. So what we've done is we put together this presentation today to actually walk you through the 5 steps you need to know from A to Z for influencer marketing. And
Will, if you don't mind me just hopping in there real fast, I just want to reiterate what Rachel's saying, because I think that for most brands, one of the most important things to remember is like we're tempted. Again, I'm a brand marketer myself. I spent 5 years internal at the Walt Disney Company in brand strategy, and then before I started doing influencer and viral marketing. And what we want to do is we're so excited about our product. We want to tell everybody about the awesome product and what we're so passionate about. But sometimes we just naturally forget to really make it about them and not about us. So the number one most important thing is that we're thinking about influencers, and we think about the communities we're engaging and why our product is helping them be better. Meaning not just a person, not just the one person we're talking to or the one influencer, but like what's the tribe in the community, whether it's fashion influencers or makeup influencers or whatnot, whatever tribe we're going after in the specific niches. We always want to think through how does our product help enhance their life and make it better. And if we can figure out how to unlock that creatively, and say that and communicate that well, then that helps them grab it and adopt it that much faster. And when a product gets adopted, it's so much more powerful than when a product is just bought or marketed to people.
Very true. And that's where that first step really comes into play. When we talk about the influencer overview, what we're really saying is we need to know how influencers think and how to talk to them. That is so important. And going into that perspective, the way that Rick is sharing is where you're really thinking about what matters to them, what is in their heart. You can start to create a storyline and a connection point with them, and that is the way that you grow. So step 1 being influencer overview, how influencers think and how to talk to them. So Rick, what can you say about that? What would be your top 3 tips for talking to influencers?
Well, I think first and foremost, and I mentioned this a little bit before, is make it about them, not about you. Second is think about the community that you're reaching, right? And then third is get the influencers at scale in that community to adopt. A lot of people who I know and I talk to who are like, hey, we tried a little bit of influencer marketing. It's not really a dabble approach. This is a holistic approach to a community. And what that means is engaging influencers at scale. So saying like, we're going to create a whole program to help our product be viral with fashion influencers, right? So that means that you want to get influencers at scale, and that would include a whole range of what we call nano influencers, which are influencers from with 1,000 to 5,000 followers, all the way up to macro influencers who are influencers with 1 million+ followers. So having a full scale approach, and then I would say we're looking to engage hundreds, right? Hundreds, not just 1 or 2. So a real influencer program as a part of a viral strategy comes down to engaging at scale and really joining and creating the narrative, not creating, but joining the narrative in the communities that you're targeting. How do we be a part of that? How do we participate in this community? And how do we make their lives better? And that's a shift in a mindset. And I'll be honest, the gravity that pulls us back is to just making it about us. We really have to make it about them.
I love that, and I couldn't agree more. And I think as we have all kind of dabbled a little bit in influencer marketing, maybe we've done some PR engagements, hired a PR firm for their 3-month minimum retainer, and then we're like, I'm not seeing sales boost, so I'm not doing this. We can sometimes think how can they really help me? And what do I do with that? And I think that really comes down to developing a marketing strategy with the end in mind. So you really want to be thinking about what you're trying to achieve. And a lot of times in business, we think very transactionally, right? We think about what are our numbers? How many visits are on my Shopify site? How many visitors are in my store? And what is the end result? But when it comes to grassroots marketing strategies, you really want to be thinking bigger. You want to be thinking more about activating a massive community. Like Rick is saying, that's how you get those hundreds of followers.
And one of the things I'd say here too is that one of the big benefits, obviously, one of the clear benefits of how an influencer can help you is they're getting buzz about your brand out there. They're talking about you to all their followers. But the other big thing, and so I feel like that's sort of a given, but that's to their audience and people who trust them and naturally look up to them. And so that's a very powerful endorsement, so to speak. But the other thing is that the influencers are also creating content for you. So as you guys know, if you're developing your own brand and doing photo shoots and all these different things, content is expensive. So if you have a strategy where you get influencers to create organic content that's engaging your audiences, that's sort of like an endorsement and content at the same time. So a lot of our clients on the viral brand side are taking this content that we're creating with influencers and they're running paid ads behind it because they're actually making that their ad, because it's actually not even an ad. It's actually just a person talking about their brand really organically and in a really helpful way. There are two ways that you can engage influencers, and I'll say that here, and we may get a moment to reiterate this later, is that we want that there is an organic approach, which is, sort of like what we call sometimes a trade post, where you've incentivized them a little bit, but mainly it's about them just giving an organic review about your product. And then there's a paid approach. So two approaches. Organic approach, I personally like the best because I feel like the organic approach is more real and creates more authentic content, because we all know in the paid approach, we've probably seen some really cheesy influencer ads, like where the influencer, basically like, they're not influencer posts, they're influencer
They're like,
ads.
hi, look at this, isn't this cool?
I mean, it could get a little awkward, right? And that's actually bad for everybody when it's not organic and it feels forced. So what we're always looking for is on the more organic side. The core list is really about that. We're about that. You can sponsor events and that's cool and things like that, but they're always about the organic experience that we want people to have, and what we call a remarkable experience with your product. It's one that is naturally shareable and people will remark about. So we put a lot of energy in making sure that people have brand experiences they want to share.
Absolutely. And I think an important note to mention, obviously, in these times, a lot of people haven't been doing events, right? And that has been a big part of our business. But what we learned very early was, we're able to actually do these digital marketing campaigns because Viral Brand has been doing them for years. So when everything kind of switched with COVID, we leaned in hardcore in the digital space and actually see a growth in our business because we started paying attention to what was needed from brands, and they knew they needed to connect on a digital place. So I think making sure that you are paying attention to what's naturally happening and you're making iterations in your business to be able to reach the right people.
So how to find and identify them, as we kind of like frame this up well, is like, I want to say, like, number one, you want to think about the community you're targeting. There's like gajillions of influencers out there, but they tend to cluster in like beehives. So think about a beehive. They stick together online. People that are sharing, influencers who are into fashion have followers who are into fashion, other influencers who follow them. So we want to start first by identifying the community and being clear about that. Second of all, after we look at that, we look at some of the predominant influencers in the community. Now, what we can do is we could go through and start to identify other influencers that those influencers are tagging. So oftentimes they're sort of working together in tandem. So you want to create a big list, a big long list, and I call it channel mapping. We call it influencer channel mapping. We're identifying influencers and figuring out the channels in which they communicate. When you start to create a really big list, you just go one after another, see who's tagging each other, see who's getting mentioned at parties. Another thing that you can do too is follow some PR firms and figure out and other firms that are out there and see who they're tagging, because oftentimes the PR firms will tag other influencers as well. So that helps you grow your list.
That's a big secret. You guys don't tell anyone that we do that. That is a really good idea. But yeah, it is very important.
This is a tell-all, right?
This is a tell-all.
Right.
Fortunately, only the best for the social house.
Magic exclusive.
Magic exclusive. Yeah, and another good idea too is to channel map the followers and friends of the influencers that you're following, and remembering, if you have dabbled in this and you have tried it and you haven't seen success, really think about the people that you found when in that identification process when you're channel mapping. Sometimes you're finding the wrong people, or sometimes you're seeing that they have too large a following to engage with you if you don't have a large enough budget or a big enough offer. So don't lose faith and continue to push forward even when it's hard.
One thing I just want to add on here is that there's a lot of incredible tools. They do cost a little bit of money that are out there. You'll see that there are going to be a bunch of influencer platforms that are out there that can help you match. Like, hey, there's a million of them right now. We started doing this in 2003, so this was long before any of those existed.
How old were you then?
12. But what was really cool is that, like, now there's more tools that help you identify influencers. And what I will say is that those platforms are out there who say that they'll help you match to influencers. It winds up a lot of times coming across inauthentic. I've seen some of the best ones actually go bankrupt and fold. And frankly, it can be a little cheesy. What I would do is I'd use these platforms instead, find the platforms that allow you to identify influencers, and then you reach out to them yourself. Don't, as a brand, maybe an agency is trying to figure this out. Everybody's trying to figure out how to scale and whatnot, but I will say, just identify the influencers and use those platforms for that purposes. So there's a million out there. After this presentation, you can even email me and I'll tell you the ones they are, and send you a few recommendations based on your current situation, because I think it just depends. And I have a whole list of them, so I'm happy to share.
What's your email, babe?
Oh, my email is Rick, R-I-C-K, @viralbrand.com.
Makes a lot of sense. Okay, so as you're going through that process, here's the fun stuff, okay? You guys, I have had a career and a few companies in the event space. So when I get to get all giddy about designing a campaign around engaging influential people, whether they're influencers, press, outlets, bloggers, celebrities, all the nine, I get really excited about mapping out something that would be really fun and really engaging, basically that offer they can't say no to. So that is step 4. You want to engage influencers, and that is about activating at scale.
Yes, that is.
I did it so well you couldn't even answer.
I know. I was like, what else do I add?
What do I say?
I will say, when it comes down to engaging influencers, we obviously want to reach out. I cannot tell you, it's really interesting because I'm married to an influencer herself, and beautiful celebrity model and amazing wife and mom.
Okay. Don't make me blush,
She's
babe.
just in one bucket. You're
Don't
many
make me blush.
buckets.
The lights
Many buckets. But I will say that when you're engaging influencers, when you're reaching out to them, have something to offer them, okay? Don't just copy and paste and just drop. Remember I said to create a really big list of influencers because we want to engage them at scale. I'm talking like create a list of 1,000, like get an intern and have them come in and like create a list of 1,000 influencers in the space, and then just have them intern just hammer at just like direct messages and talking to people and emailing them and texting them, whatever's necessary.
A paid intern.
A paid intern, yes. Well, they could be good for college credit.
Yeah, but it's always nice to.
Yeah, if they're a little money and they'll be even happier. We'll work harder. So I will say, here we want to create that list, but ultimately when you're reaching out to an influencer cold, right, you want to reach out to a lot of them and you want to have something to offer. So create value, be a value creator in their life. Let them know, you have an awesome product experience you want them to have, and send them something really cool. Send them something magical, like a really cool box opening. Some of you guys have seen that. Like, but when you ship them things, reach out to them, let them know you're gonna ship them something with great value, let them know what that cost is, and then like so they could see the dollar amount, and then ship it to them and put it in a box like you would put your Christmas toy in for your 3-year-old,
Basically be warm when you reach out cold.
Yeah, absolutely. And I call it Operation Santa Claus. Internally, I actually call it Operation Santa Claus. Sorry for our Jewish friends, but I'm just saying, like, we celebrate Christmas, and Santa Claus is a big thing in our house, and then we always want to blow people away with what's under the tree. Okay, so for us, Operation Santa Claus is like, hey, how do we just make it feel like Santa just dropped all these Christmas toys?
Speaking of which, is it too early for me to send Santa my wish list?
Yeah.
Asking for a friend, because I am shopping the brands at WWDMAGIC.
I still get to complete your push present, so let me get that done before Christmas.
TMI. Okay, so you guys, once you know you want to engage influencers, you get to get real creative. So I have opened the vault because we did this a little bit as a preview in February. We opened the vault and we're gonna tell you some of the things that we've done. And a lot of these that we've chosen are our partnerships with WWDMAGIC. So we have done road trip photo shoots. I'm talking party bus, influential people, fashion, and lots of photographers.
Yes, yeah.
And fun. So I'm just gonna go through and show you a little bit of this. So we have, there's our little giggles. So we have this amazing group of ladies that we curate specially, and we pull them together and we say, hey, look, we've got some really cool stuff coming your way and we want to work with you. Now, again, remember, iteration is key right now. So if you're trying to engage with influential leaders in your community and you're trying to promote your brand, and let's be honest, boost sales, you can iterate. You can do this on the go. You can do a digital version of this. We are already doing some fun campaigns that way. Yeah,
we have, just to let you know, I mean, obviously like Viral Brand, we're kind of mostly digital. And for us, if we do an event, the whole idea of doing an event is to create a digital buzz online. So whether that's going to be press or influencers or celebrities and other people talking, we have a physical event to create a digital splash, right? So what other kind of physical events can create a digital splash in the middle of COVID and the fact that we can't all be together right now? And that comes down to what I said before, the shipping them something and a really cool experience. What it really comes down to is having an awesome experience that they can open a box and then start to share with their audience.
Yes, and a big trend that's happening right now, this is another secret that we're passing on. are these drive-in experiences. So Erase MS just did a huge gala, and it was a drive-in event. You got people coming in their Rolls Royce, doing the red carpet by themselves, and we are actually doing an event like this with one of our photo shoots. It's a drive-in experience. And so again, thinking outside the box is really the way that you grow. By the way, from a fashion perspective, he's crushing the game, isn't he? He was on he was on the fence about wearing these glasses. What? Every time you take them off, I'm like, they're so cute. He even put a special tint in them. Sidebar. But anyway, so I want to roll through and show you what can happen, because I think this is the part that's really exciting. Sometimes when we're building something and we're trying something for the first time, it's a little scary and we're not quite sure it's going to actually work. So I want to show you real case studies of how it's worked, because the next phase, number 5, is all about tracking and leveraging the results. So we're going to roll right through these into that.
I will say,
we're on a time limit, Rick.
I mean, yeah, just gotta say, like, I know we're in the middle of COVID, and I know we gotta think about other, experiences that people can have when they're not together. But COVID will not last forever. I know it feels like it will. Someone told me, like, hey, it felt like it was just March 13 years ago. I was like, it did. It does feel like March was 13 years ago. But this will not last forever. Then we're going to come to the other side of this. And this kind of planning for next year or coming up, soon, would be really critical, because these type of things that Rachel's about to talk about do create a lot of press and a lot of exposure.
That's true. And also, I know Rick will do a complimentary consultation if you just want to brainstorm. We love brainstorming. In fact, since I became a mama, he gets less of my time. He's a little jealous of my 4-month-old.
I do think that our child is going to be a brainstormer too, because it's really funny when he's crying and are about to cry. I tell him like this. I'm like, wait. I got an idea. I got this really cool idea. And he stops crying and looks at me, and his eyes get real big open. I'm like, yes, we got another brainstormer.
That's how I shut him up too. So it's working. So what I'm showing you right here are some of the influencer posts. So these are a result of those campaigns that we are doing, those photo shoots that we're doing, the press that you saw. You're seeing things come alive on social media, and it's really, really engaging. It's really fun. And most importantly, it's authentic. It's organic. It's not going to be this stale, basic version. And this is the way everything kind of comes to life.
And by the way, just let me jump in for 2 seconds, but nobody really wants to hear from me.
Nobody
really wants to hear from me. They really want to hear from her. She's way prettier than I am.
Whatever.
But I will say, it's content like this that I mentioned before that if you take as a brand, you can create this as a paid boost. Of course, you have to get permission from the influencer who posted it, but that's a whole other story we talk about. But I will say that these kind of posts are organic and real, and these are the things that people are making people buy now. Millennials and Gen Z people are into things that are more authentic and organic. So these things running through influencer accounts, you can actually pay paid ads through influencer accounts and create a bigger partnership with them, so that people see an ad coming through Rachel McCord. So with organic vibing content.
Yes, I spy the gorgeous president of Magic.
I was just thinking that.
What up, Kelly Helpman?
Kelly.
I see you, queen.
See.
So this is where we get to track and leverage the results. So we talked about this a little bit when we were getting into those slides about actually what to do, because I just wanted to kind of get your wheels turning, get that brainstorm happening. So this is where we really get to say, hey, what happened? And to Rick's point, maybe you did a campaign and you didn't get as much of a lift as you thought. Do a Facebook ad, do an Instagram ad, do some social media ads on YouTube, and really boost what you've done, so that you're not losing all that hard work. Because the most important thing is that you're engaging your consumer. But I want to remind you, this is really important, you guys, okay? Clean it. You need to reach them 11 times in most cases before they hit buy. 11 times, okay? So that means that you've got to be re-engaging. You've got to have your Facebook pixel tracker. If they go on your website, continue to hit them up with ads that are relevant to what they were searching for on your site. They checked out your sunglasses. They checked out that sexy little fuchsia. You need to hit them back and be like, get it for yourself, get it on sale, whatever the case may be.
And I do have some thoughts here. There are a few, because obviously I've lived in this world, for 15 plus years now. I wouldn't say that lightly. And I will tell you that a lot of people will ask, like, what is the proof of the result? So there's 2 sides of the story. Number one is that we have the side of the story that is focused on paid media, and then the other side of the story is focused on earned media. Okay, so on earned media, it's really the hardest thing. Just that's always been the age old issue. The age old issue is, do we have an earned media approach that is creating the results and the that we're expecting. Now, that's been true with magazines and newspapers and everything else. So you look at your sales, you see if you get a lift, right? So you run an experiment for like a month, 2 months, 3 months, a quarter, and see what kind of lift you get. If you're doing paid media or doing a paid post with influencers, you can actually ask them to see their accounts. So you can put that as a term and condition of your arrangement if you're paying the influencer to do a post. So there's the paid media side and the earned side. The paid can get a little more tactile. The earned side is a little more fuzzy, but you can just watch over a couple months to see if you get a lift in your sales.
Yeah, great advice. So before we wrap this up, and again, go back to your team, brainstorm, hit up Rick at Viral Brand, hit me up at the McCord List. If you want to talk through some of these ideas and just brainstorm about ways to promote your brand, your boutique, whatever you're facing in the fashion industry, we'd love to talk through it with you. But before we wrap, I just wanted to roll through some really fun case studies to show you we've built a network and we've done this many times before. We've worked with these people who are perfect for our community, and we don't take it lightly who we choose. I don't just put my name on whatever I do. I want to make sure that it's organic, that it's true to my heart, and it's something that I can organically talk about.
Absolutely, and I think that, just as Rachel's built a network for the McCord List, I would say think about building a network for yourself. So don't just look at doing one-offs with influencers. Look at like building a little tribe of influencers who support your brand. And you can do all sorts of things with that tribe. You can do conference calls, and you can call them direct and email them and just like engage them and make them part of your brand family.
Absolutely. So do you want to just roll through these last case studies? Yeah,
just a couple of case studies I want to show you guys here. Like this is just some, we'll let them sit on the screen so you can read the detail, but we've done a bunch of really fun events that have created social conversations, and we've had many different brands that have been a part of it. One of the things I would tell you guys is that, if you look at Life and Style and Us Weekly and some of the press, is that we always try to get some press. We create some influencer cool event that also gets some press. We invite members of the press and make them a part of it as well, because that's incremental buzz on top of what we're already doing with the influencers. So you've got the influencer buzz, and then we're looking at to get something that's a press-worthy type event. And that's a big deal. So you start to see this media reach, and that's kind of how we calculate things. We look at the media reach, and we just let these influencers create incredible content. Victoria and all these people, we know them very personally, like they're such sweethearts. But you can see here that media reach, that event was 17 million. And we had almost 100 posts for the brands that we were working with on this event.
With social media. And then there's also the online press as well. So, and then the content, the photos that you're seeing, this is 1,935 pieces of content created. So you're walking away with content as well. And that's the coolest part, I think, of working with people who are passionate about what they do. And they tag the brands like you see on the left-hand side of the screen.
Yeah, I will say that it is the ultimate buy one, get one free thing. And I think that, I think first and foremost, if I was a brand, I would think through like, oh my gosh, this content is fire. These people are basically modeling for me for free or a very small fee, and they're also posting. So it's a 1-2 punch. And so working with influencers is incredible. The content is helping you. It's cheaper than hiring a normal photographer. Not saying that you wouldn't always do that, but it's less expensive, and you're getting buzz as a result of that in the middle of it because they're posting and endorsing your brand, and you're also getting a bigger influencer tribe that's activating for your brand. So
yeah. So hit us up. Let us know what your thoughts are. We're so excited. We're having the best time right now, connecting with you digitally with the Magic Social House powered by the McCord List. We couldn't be more honored to bring you this content. And we're excited to hear what you think.
I couldn't be more honored to be here with you guys. Thank you so much. It's usually like, especially with Magic in the fashion world, it's always Rachel, and she's amazing, and I'm always in the audience watching. So it's cheering her on, and Kelly and Dawn and all the greats. But I'm very excited to have a seat be sitting in the hot seat right now.
Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you at our next session.
Bye, guys.